The story begins with a man named John Bridger who had just been released from jail. At this time, he was in Venice, and as soon as he came out, he called his daughter Stella. He told Stella that he wanted to give her a gift, but Stella asked if he had the bill. Actually, Stella knew that her father was a very clever thief. Well, after a while, we see John meeting the rest of his friends. This time, they were going to steal gold biscuits from a house built in water, whose value was $1.5 crore. According to the plan, he placed a bomb under the safe and detonated it, due to which the safe fell directly into the water. Soon the police came after him, but somehow he managed to escape with the gold. Ultimately, they all went to the snowy mountains. They reached where John praised Charlie because Charlie had done all the planning for this theft. After this, when they moved ahead, suddenly Steve's men blocked their way on a bridge. Here Steve put a gun on Handsome Rob's head, and soon Steve's men started unloading the stolen gold from the bus. As soon as John tried to get off the bus, Steve pointed a gun at him too. On this betrayal of Steve, John said that my friends will not leave you but Steve. He was so blinded by the greed for gold that he shot his boss John. At the same time, Handsome Rob ran the bus and it fell straight into the icy water. On top of that, Steve fired heavy bullets at them so that none of them survived. Could escape, but luckily they all survived and swam to the riverbank. Coming out, Charlie mourned the death of his boss John and then swore to take revenge from his murderer Steve. A year later, we see that John's daughter Stella worked as a locksmith for the police department. One day when she arrived at the office, Charlie came to meet her and told her that he had found Steve and wanted to get back the stolen gold from him. He also wanted Stella to join this mission, but Stella said that she is not a thief like her father. But then at night, Stella changed her mind, and she called Charlie and told him that when he steals the gold from Steve, he will blow Steve's face. The next morning, Charlie introduced Stella to the entire team, and soon they all started preparing for their plan. First, they found out the address of Steve's house and identified the camera. After this, they made Stella a spy and went to Steve's house. Decided to send because she was the only one among them whom Steve did not know. On the other hand, Steven was selling gold biscuits to a man named Ivan. Ivan bought 4 biscuits from him and said that he would buy more gold in the future. Charlie's team. She was keeping an eye on Steve's every move. They decided to send Stella to Steve's house by making her a mechanic to repair TV. For this, Rob wooed a mechanic woman by talking sweetly to her and spent the night with her. Then the next morning, he also stole that girl's uniform and the keys of her van. Brother, this Rob is a very dirty man. Soon he gave this uniform and keys to Stella, and Stella disguised herself as a cable guy. After this, Left Ear cut the wire of Steve's TV, so that Steve called the cable people. Then he himself talked to Steve and sent Stella to his place. Then Stella reached his house wearing a small camera on her shirt. Seeing her beauty, Steve started showing off his wealth. Well, with the help of Stella's camera. They got a map of every corner of the house. Here Steve started flirting with Stella and asked her on a date. At first Stella refused, but then later she agreed. Finally, when she came back, Charlie told the whole team. Together they made a further plan. They kept as much iron as there was gold inside the Mini Cooper, and then asked Stella to drive the car, but then they realized that the car would not be able to fit all the stolen gold. Then they called a mechanic named Ranch. On the other hand, Lyle hacked the traffic system, and then he called Charlie, and he changed the traffic lights on his own will and created a traffic jam on the roads. Seeing this, Charlie was very happy with him. On the other hand, Left Ear also took part in this mission. In a short time, the Ranch also finished the vehicles, and then Charlie's team went out to test them. They were all very happy to see such amazing vehicles. While on the other hand, Steve and Gold started selling biscuits to Yvonne's base. But during the conversation, Yvonne talked about the theft of gold in Venice, which made Steve a little nervous. He angrily grabbed Yvonne by the throat and asked him who all he had told about this theft. He also said that he did not tell anything to anyone, but in anger, Steve threw him on the desk and took his life by shooting at him. After some time, Yvonne's brother, Mashkov, reached there. As soon as he saw his brother's dead body, he was stunned. Left was actually the leader of the Ukrainian mafia gang, and now he swore to avenge his brother's death. Meanwhile, Charlie and Left Ear went to buy weapons from a goon named Skinny Pete. On the way, Charlie told Left Ear that brother it's okay, but as soon as Left Ear saw Skinny Pete, he kept looking at him. Actually, Skinny Pete was not a thin man, but a very fat man. On the other hand, Mashkov and his goons were searching for Yvonne's murderer like hungry dogs. When Mashkov called one of Yvonne's disciples and inquired, he came to know that a big man with long black hair used to buy gold biscuits from Yvonne. Now Mashkov understood that he was talking about Skinny Pete. He immediately asked about Skinny Pete. Lyle approached Steve and interrogated him about the gold biscuits and Yvonne's death. On the other hand, Charlie and his team were preparing for the next phase of the plan. Lyle was keeping an eye on Steve and saw that Steve was on a date with Stella. When Charlie and his team arrived to steal the gold from his house, they saw that Steve's neighbors were having a party, and with so many people, they couldn't burst in and steal the gold, so they had to cancel their plan. Stella was forced to go on a date with Steve. In the restaurant, Steve started praising Stella's beauty, and later he asked Stella to go home with him. But Stella refused and said that, "I have faith in people, but I don't care about them. Not on the hidden monster." In fact, his father, John, often used to say this. Hearing this, Steve said that he had heard this somewhere before and suddenly held Stella's hand. But then the whole team reached the restaurant and seeing them all alive, Steve lost his senses. Now he understood that, "Brother, I am not safe here." Well then, while telling about his high-tech security system, he said that he would never be able to open his safe. Then Charlie suddenly punched him hard in the face. After this, they all returned to their base and Charlie calmed Stella down. Then soon Lyle informed them that Steve was planning to send all his gold to Mexico. Hearing this, Charlie got the idea to steal the safe on the way. Then Lyle said, "Brother, you just met him. Do you think he would let such a theft happen? Steve is going to use very nice trucks and helicopters to transfer his gold." Then later, Skinny Pete told Charlie, called and asked about Yvonne's murder, to which Charlie said that he did not know anything about it. Later, Charlie went with Rob to look for a new truck to steal. Then he called the ranch and gave him the job of modifying this truck. Ranch said that he also wanted to take part in this theft, so Charlie included him in his team. Later, Charlie and Left Ear went to plant bombs under the bridge where a truck full of gold was to pass the next day. Finally, the next morning, it happened and the whole team started waiting impatiently for Steve's gold trucks when they saw that Steve had sent 3 trucks to distract them. Well, Charlie had already realized this, so he told him to chase that truck. After this, Charlie asked Lyle to check the weight of the wheels of the 3 trucks. According to him, the truck which has more weight on its wheels has the real gold. Soon, Lyle saw the CCTV camera and told him that the truck number 128 has the heaviest weight. So Charlie's team chased them for some time, but suddenly all 3 trucks turned in different directions at an intersection. Then Lyle controlled the traffic lights and created a traffic jam on the road carrying truck 128. On the other hand, Steve. He was watching all this from the helicopter above. He immediately asked his pilot to turn back. Here, with the help of traffic lights, Lyle diverted truck number 128 from its path. Soon, Charlie's team reached this truck, and a fierce race took place between the 2 trucks. Charlie's truck started and crossed the train station, passing through the stairs, and then Lyle pressed a button and stopped the train so that his truck could reach under the bridge on time. Eventually, he somehow reached under the bridge and reached the ranch. Started waiting for the signal. As soon as Ranch saw truck 128 going on the bridge, the left driver detonated the bombs installed on the bridge. Due to this blast, the road broke and the truck fell straight down. At the same time, Ranch pressed a button and burst onto the road. On the other hand, Steve asked his goons to find the truck as soon as possible. On the other hand, Charlie's team found the truck, but after seeing the safe inside it, the ground slipped under their feet. Actually, this was not the safe that Stella had found in Steve's house. Charlie then asked Stella to try to open the safe. Stella said that it was very difficult to find out its password, so she decided to break the safe with a drilling machine. Finally, after a lot of efforts, she succeeded, and soon they filled the gold in their Mini Cooper. The whole team left the place celebrating with all the gold. But within a few moments, Steve's men also reached there chasing them. Soon they started firing heavily on Charlie's team. Then Charlie also retaliated on them, and soon they went on the highway. At the same moment, Steve saw them from the helicopter and started chasing them. Suddenly, Charlie changed the path, but Steve came there too. At one point, Charlie's car almost collided with the helicopter. He was about to escape by turning the car sharply. Then Steve also landed from the helicopter and stole someone's car and started chasing Charlie. Here, Charlie immediately put the Mini Cooper in a train compartment and escaped in another car with his team. Here, Steve was still following them when he saw Charlie's team coming out of the train compartment. He met Ranch. He mistook Ranch for working there and lured him with $55,000 and asked him to take them to the Mini Cooper. Ranch took the money and opened the door of the train compartment, but suddenly Charlie came out of it and started laughing at Steve's stupidity because now Steve had nothing left. Suddenly, Steve took out his gun and was about to kill Charlie. It was about to happen that at that very moment, the Ukrainian mafia gang reached there. Steve asked him who he was. Then the mafia leader said that he was Ivan's brother. Hearing this, Steve's blood dried up, and he started saying that I had nothing to do with Ivan's death. But the mafia boss did not listen to her. Seeing the opportunity, Stella also punched Steve hard in the face to take the life of her father. After this, the goons of the mafia gang caught him and took him away, while Charlie's team got away with a lot of gold. Set out to start a new life. If you like the video, then like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.